Hello and welcome to Susan the Shed, and today I'm going to give you a very quick guide on how to use a Brother Innovis A150 sewing machine. They're a computerised sewing machine which can be a little bit daunting at first, but once you get to know how to use it, which is really quite incredibly easy, you'll be aware. So we're going to start with the front of the machine before we even turn it on. We've got a flywheel here at the side, or a balance wheel. You'll find that you don't use that as much as you would with a manual machine, because we also have buttons that does all the jobs for that. Also on the side is an on-off switch, which is there. Turn that on and off. And a little port down here, and that's to put your foot pedal in if you choose to use it. If you don't choose to use it, you have a little switch on the front here instead, which is much easier, believe it or not. People get a little bit concerned about not using a foot pedal, because we've all used a foot pedal, but it really works well without using one, so have a go at it. On here is your digital display. We'll come back to that in a second and I'll show you how to use this. This is your speed button, so this works when you're not using the foot pedal, or whatever speed you want to do, and we'll see that when it's turned on. You've got a scissor function here, which is brilliant. It means you don't have to root about for your scissors, because it just cuts your thread for you. Your needle up and down, so wherever your machine stops, if you want your needle in a different position, you just press that, so you don't have to use the balance wheel, flywheel on the side. This is your lock stitch. We're kind of used to, I suppose, doing a reverse stitch, but this one locks your thread in place. This is your reverse stitch. And this is your stop and go button, and that's it. It looks quite scary, but it's that simple. On the top, you've got your threading instructions like you would on a regular machine. It kind of shows you where to go. I'll run through that again in a minute. You've also got, if I just tilt the camera a little bit, you've got your spool winder here, and this thing that snaps on and off shows you what stitches you can program in. And it also does 3 different fonts, which is quite cool. So we'll just turn the machine on, and the default stitch is number 1, and you'll find that on here, just there. I always like mine to be on number 3 because it positions the needle in the centre, and that's how I've always learnt to sew. So my default position would be number 3, but the machine defaults at number 1. So just check that. Your seam allowance might be slightly different at number 1. If you wanted a zigzag, you're going to press number 5 or number 6. That gives you your zigzag. And then you can mess about with these to change the width and to change the length. So if we change the length to a nice long one, we can change the width so it's a bit higher. And you can completely customise each stitch just by messing about with these buttons here. If you wanted to program a stitch, so if we go for these hearts here, the first thing you have to do is find this icon and the number 2. So you've got 1, 2 and 3, so you'd have to press it twice to get number 2. So if we press that once, so is it okay to cancel the current pattern? Yes, it is. We'll press it again, so we've got number 2. And then what we do is we put 0, 5 in, and that gives you your heart. So you've just got to check that it's the right pattern, and that's your hearts there. If you completely mess this up and you can't remember what you needed to get back to, the easiest thing to do is turn your machine off, turn it back on, and it'll default back to 1, and you can start again. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to thread it up. It's got an automatic needle threader, which is lovely. We'll do a bobbin first. You can see this bobbin's already been threaded. It's quite easy to thread a bobbin. It's the same as most other machines. This goes in on an anti-clockwise turn. So you make sure that that's turning anti-clockwise when you pull it. You drop it in and you just follow the little curves round. There's a little curve and it takes it round that curve, and there's a little blade in there and it just cuts it off. And that's that threaded. It's that simple. And you can close this, excuse me, You can close this because there isn't any fishing on this machine. You don't need to fish, it'll automatically fetch the thread for you. So we're just going to pop the thread on the spool holder there and put the cap on so it doesn't jump about too much. If I just tilt this forward a little bit, we're going to go into number 1 there, and we're going to go around the back of number 2 there. So into 1, around the back of 2. Okay, you're coming down this slot here, and we're going to go round 3. We're going to go back up and round 4, so it goes through the take up guide in there. You're coming back down the same channel, and there's a little spike, a little hook there that we've got to go around. Once we've gone around that hook, this is your automatic needle threader. So at this point, if you wanted to thread your needle by hand, you can. Make sure your buttonhole, there's a little buttonhole guide at the back, make sure that's up, and you're going to go put your thread through that slot and over 7. So through that slot there and over 7, just like that. Now what we do now is we press this lever and the thread will shoot itself through the needle. We'll just grab that thread at the back, pull it through, and we're all threaded, ready to go. So that machine's all threaded up now, ready for a straight stitch. So I'm just going to grab a piece of fabric. We're just going to pop it in. You presser foots where the presser foots normally are on any regular machine. If you want to put your needle in first, you can. You just press that button. That's your needle down. And this is your stop and go button. So we'll have it quite slow, because otherwise it'll shake the table, and that's not good for video. And we're just going to press it to start, and that's way too slow. We'll turn it up a bit. And you press it to stop. Start. Stop. Because if you want full speed, you can get your full speed up and stop. And at this point you want to fetch your presser foot up, not your needle. Your needle can come up if you're finished. But if you turn in a corner, presser foot up, swivel it round on your needle, pop your presser foot back down, and away you go again. Start, stop. So this is your reverse. You have to press and hold that. If you were coming towards the end and it's going a little bit fast for you, if you press and hold this button, it'll creep. If you press it once, it'll do 1 stitch. So it's actually 2 presses on off, and it'll do 1 stitch. So if you just wanted to creep it forward, stitch by stitch. When you're finished, you press this button. Your presser foot must be down. If it's not, it will shout at you and tell you on here, put your presser foot down, so don't worry about it. I'll just demonstrate that to you. Let's get that so there's no reflection on it. So if I press the scissors, it's actually saying lower the presser foot. So pop your presser foot down. Now you can press the scissors. And that has cut it off. Magic. Right, let's play a little bit with the with the computer part of it. We're going to put in a name. I'll put in my name, why not? And I'm going to use this font here. So I'm going to press the font button until I've got on here the one that I want, which I've just gone past there. That one matches that, and then you put in your name. So S19 gives me an S. 15 with a 0, and I have another 15, and we're going to go for a Z. 26. Check your spelling. You see that? Now we're just going to put your fabric in, put your foot down, and you're just going to hit your button, and a slight guidance. It's going to go back and forward as it's writing that name. And you can see on here which letter it's doing. It moves across. It'll finish on its own. Press your scissors and out it comes. Ta-da! It's a great little machine. Changing needles and things like that is dead easy, just the same as how you would change a needle in a regular machine. You're just going to open this little screw towards you, pull your needle out. I'll do that for you, why not? And you'll see that your needle has a domed front and a flat back. So if you remember, the flat back goes to the back. You pop it up through there, as high up as it will go. Always make sure that your needle's in the top position or your needle threader won't work. Pop that in. We'll just rethread that. Remember, we pull this down, throws it through, and there we go. So hopefully that's shown you a little bit on how to use the Innovis A150. Feel free to ask any questions if there's anything you're stuck with, and I'll come back and see if I can help you. Hope this was useful.